We'll be hitting the road again, going to a tough place to play in the SEC, which they all are. This is one of the challenging ones. They got a great environment. Uh, Mark Stoops has done an incredible job there with the program, coming off a tough loss, and I know we'll get the response from them that you would expect out of a team that's the quality of Kentucky. They've done a tremendous job the last 2 or 3 years with what they've done with their program. He's built it through keeping players there, developing players, extremely physical and tough. When you ask our kids over the last 2 years what the most physical game they played in, to a man, every one of them talks about how physical the Kentucky game was 2 years ago up there, and then at our place last year. Where on a 20-something play drive against our defense to end the game. Their defense is one of the top in the conference year in, year out, but that way this year as well. Great challenge for us to go on the road, tough environment, day game, and looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, I know you're big on logistics and stuff, and you mentioned it Saturday night. I just wonder how it practically played itself out with you guys getting back so late, having to get ready for Kentucky on Saturday night. How did that end up working out and looking for you?
I think we got back around 1:30, back into Athens, and then yesterday was business as usual, preparing for Kentucky.
Kirby, Chris Rodriguez is coming off of one of his best games of the season. Just what makes him such an effective back and the challenge he presents?
His willingness and love for contact. He seeks and cherishes contact, and it's it's that time of year where you watch defenses across the country and people turn down contact. They turn down hits, and we make a point to try to show it to our guys that as the year goes, tackling gets worse and worse and worse. Are we going to be bit by that contagious bug of lack of a willingness to thud, and especially a guy that loves it? I mean, he seeks it, he wants to hit you. And one of the most physical runners I've seen. It just seems like Kentucky always has guy. Snell, Benny was that way. It almost feeds to their personality, and you watch it and you're like, well, how did he get through that tackle? And you don't really know because he just keeps going when people hit him. And great challenge to be cool with this guy and match his love for contact.
Kirby, weekly request for update on A.D. Mitchell, and also specifically, just to be clear, did he aggravate the high ankle sprain when he came back against Auburn, and that's why he's been out since then?
I can't say that for certain. The MRI and the X-rays don't show that anything was done then. He felt like he might have tweaked it some, and that slowed his progress some. But it's a pain in the injury. And like I talked about repeatedly, we didn't have an option to do the tightrope and do the surgery. Tillman got, Tua got, Arian got. That wasn't an option. So it's been frustrating for him. He wants to get back. He works really hard at it. He was better last week than he's been every week previous. He actually got to do individual drills last week and did some things, but he's still not, or at least last week. I don't know where he is this week because I haven't seen him yet. But he was not where he could come out of breaks and do the things required to play receiver, and that's tough. So he stayed here. He got extra rehab here. Felt like he got a little better rehab here, not having to be on it all weekend and during the game. And so we're again hopeful to get back this week, but it'll be day by day.
Y'all have won the East 5 out of 6 years. Just from your perspective, what does it take to sustain that kind of success through multiple recruiting classes, multiple different teams, that kind of thing?
It takes consistency in performance. It takes a commitment to excellence from your entire administration. It takes physicality in this league. It takes a really mature team to manage every game like it has a history and life of its own. And that's what it takes, but it's not the be-all and end-all to just win the East. There's a lot of things left for this team to do.
Coach Karras mentioned coverage recognition. He felt has been one of the bigger improvements he's seen from the wide receiver core as the season went along. Kind of what's been your view of that this year?
As far as what's the improvement, or
coverage recognition. He mentioned that as being one he felt as one of the being able to recognize what the other defense is trying to do.
yeah, routes that affects the route. Some routes it doesn't. Depends on what kind of passing game we're calling. So yeah, that's really just an experience quality. The more you experience it, the better you are at it. Like a defensive back recognizing a route. The more you see the routes, the more you recognize them. Same way for receivers. The more you see the coverages, the more you see the things you got to do to attack them. But some coverages matter. Man's man. So it's you don't have to recognize man. You got to be able to go beat it. I think BMAC and Coach Munkin have a lot of experience developing guys in that area.
Yeah, two questions. One, anything new on Javon Bullard? And two, what challenges does playing a guy like Will Levis, who's physically gifted, present to your defense?
Bullard has a leg contusion. It's like below the knee. I think he's going to be fine. I think he was limited yesterday in some of the workouts they did, but we fully expect him to be able to play. I haven't seen him I haven't seen him myself, so we'll see more today. As far as Will Levis, this guy's got a bazooka for an arm. He can make all the throws. He's really good athlete. He's physically and mentally really tough. He's wired that kind of way to compete against you. It's not like he's going to shy away from contact. He doesn't get flustered by rush. I mean, he's not afraid of standing in there and taking shots, and that's one of the number one qualities of a quarterback. And can they stand there and be unaffected? And he has been. He's shown that, and he's actually shown the ability to break tackles and make plays out of the pocket.
Kirby, I was going over some of Mike Leach's post-game comments. He was crediting your defensive line, which has been a hallmark of your defenses all the way back to Alabama. And he said, not a come up the field group, a pulling group. And then he also said, you're good at transitioning. When he talks about the transitioning part, what is he doing as far as the way you coach these defensive lines? Can you go into some of the details of what he's explaining there?
I don't know what he means by the pull and yank. I would think he means strike and attack, because that's what we do with our defensive linemen. We strike, attack, and then get off blocks. It's block protection more than it is anything else. But transition could mean many things. Do they cover hard when you throw a screen? Do they transition to go cover down, or do they transition from a run play to a conversion of transition rush? That's what a lot of defensive guys call transition is, can you convert from I'm playing the run to now I'm playing the pass? But I don't know without asking him exactly what he meant.
Kirby, Kentucky pass defense has been one of the best in the conference. Just what stands out about played the pass throughout this?
Well, their entire defense has been one of the best throughout the conference, and have been consistently every year. Let's be clear, because they have really good defensive coaches. Coach Stoops very involved. Coach White does a tremendous job. They're very consistent because they're physical. They don't allow you to get the run game going. They play a lot of wide front, which makes for really tough sledding in terms of large human beings being inside. You don't move and displace them very well. They're very multiple in coverage, so we've had them on tape multiple times. I know into Tennessee, Mississippi State, yourself watching Kentucky a lot, and have a lot of respect for what they do defensively. Players they have that they do a great job.
When you talked a little bit about this the other night of the game, but when you're striving for perfection, day by day, week by week, season by season, what are some of the things that that have been effective for you to keep these guys wanting that? When it's not out, it's always going to be not out of reach. That's what you're striving for. And is there anything about this group in particular? I mean, coming off a national championship that seems to have maintained that hunger. You, like I said, you spoke to that a little bit the other night. How tough it is to people don't realize to keep it going day by day.
Yeah, it's the pitfall of every profession or everything people do in society is being able to repeat habits. And can you do that? You do what you do better than the people in your profession on daily basis and not get bored with monotony. It's hard to sustain anything in life, in your career, whatever it is. And if you want to be the best sports writer, you want to be the best broadcaster, you want to be the best, do it better than the other people in your profession. And you got to do that by recreating yourself, by consistently outworking someone. And sometimes people get comfortable. And when you get comfortable, you're not always at your best. And we're trying our best to be at our best. That's our job. And the challenge is you do that better than the team you're up against.
Yeah, Kira's talked about not wanting to be a selfish player, and given now the time that you've been here, do you think as an evaluator you've gotten better at identifying guys that are going to fit your culture and who you know are going to push through difficult times or when things might not necessarily be going your way?
No, I don't know that we're better at identifying. I think we certainly delve into that conversation more than we used to, but I don't know that we're better at it. I mean, I don't, there's no written script or perfect DNA quality that you say. You assume all players are unselfish and care about the program and want to be here no matter what. But let's be realistic. It's probably not going to be the case. So you do the best you can, and you try to move that needle while they're here, because I don't think that people are where you can't change. And I think you develop that. You get buy-in and you sell it through your older players, and the older players sell younger players, and you win some and you lose some.
Obviously, with Nolan out, Jalen Walker got a lot of those snaps on Saturday. Just what have you seen from him in terms of his play and just embracing that challenge? And second thing, have you seen Nolan kind of work with him closely in the film room or in practice to just help him get better? Yeah,
Nolan's been a tremendous asset for us. The snaps that you're referring to, Jalen, really weren't anything to do with Nolan's. Nolan's is with Bert Beals, but Jalen has developed and is getting better, and still got a ways to go. And he'll be the first to tell you that he's got to grow and get better. He did get more opportunities the other night because of the passing situations that they were in, but he's got to do more of those opportunities. He's got to continue to grow. He has not taken what he does in practice to the field just yet, and he practices sometimes better than he plays, and he's got to get some of that anxiety. That's part of being a freshman. But Nolan's done a great job with all those guys. He's right there with them, teaching, cheering, being a leader.
Kirby, over to you. Going back 2 answers ago, you were talking about kind of staying at the top of your field, being the best, and you said getting comfortable can be one of the biggest obstacles to that. At this point in your team's journey, in your team's season, how do you keep players from getting comfortable?
Talking recentering, coming back to the purpose and what we started all this about. And we did have the good fortune of not a lot of these guys were major parts of the run that went on last year, so it was new for a lot of them, and the energy and enthusiasm towards making a mark themselves and creating their own identity was the lead factor. In sustaining that is we're getting in the quarter, we're at the 15-20 yard line, like trying to go finish off the regular season, and that's got to be sustained. So far, they've had a good attitude, and they've approached each week independent of the previous.
Kirby, you use the word connection a lot to describe the bond between these players. I saw the clip of you talking to them in the locker room, saying that they're the most connected group that you had ever seen. What are some of the things that you see from them that make you say that?
Well, the reactions to good and bad. We say we're at our best when the worst happens, and that's where we're going to be at our best. That's the spot you can be the most connected. It's easy to be connected. Ladd McConkey runs 80 yards for a touchdown. I mean, it's hard to be connected when a guy misses you for a touchdown pass and you don't pout about it. A guy fumbles, a guy throws an interception, a guy gives up a huge pass interference. Where's your connection now when it's needed most? And that's the muscle that we like to say our strongest muscle on our team. So if you got it, why not use it? And no reason to use it if you got it. And I thought our kids did a good job of that the other night.
They said on the ESPN broadcast that that Steph was experiencing right arm discomfort. Is that just the nature of 10 games into the season, or was there a particular hit he might have taken?
Not real sure. No telling.
Coach Tremaine is one of these guys, I guess a program guy, maybe a way to describe it. He's been a long time, had to kind of wait his turn to earn the position he's in right now. How much appreciation you take for guys like that who are willing to make that sacrifice?
It's awesome. It's the consummate team player that is his role and is playing his role now. Still doesn't play a ton of snaps, but he makes the most of the snaps he takes. And, he has tremendous toughness, and he has tremendous buy-in to the way we do things.
Going back to Tramel Walter, can you tell us his recruitment to Georgia? I remember he went to Hutchinson. Were you guys beforehand and told him go there, then come here? Did you talk to him after Hutchinson? How did his recruitment work out?
I thought he was a really good athlete from down there, and we'd seen when we recruited Richard, and he needed some development, needed to go play some to be able to come in here and help us, and he was willing to do that, and he came in more ready to play than a kid from high school after being there, and he's done a good job since being here. Time for two more.